Hey, shalom, shalom. Hey, first and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakakwadash. Hey, double honors to your apostles and elders. Salutations to your Akim that's out there doing the work of truth and sincerity. All right, really quick, just wanted to test something out, as I'm reading Deuteronomy 28 and 37. And it reads, it says, "And thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all nations, whither the Lord shall lead thee." All right. And I just wanted to test it out, because these are the prophecies, all right? And this is what the scriptures say about the prophecy. This is Isaiah 34 and 16. "See ye out of the book of the Lord, and read, no one of these shall fail, none shall want her mate. For my mouth it hath commanded, and his spirit it hath gathered them." All right. And so basically it's talking about the prophecies, the things, that's written in the scriptures by, the prophets, by way of the mouth of the Lord. All right. And the scriptures talk about this book being published, you know, by great men. All right. Only to prove the point that, we know that the scriptures was written by the inspiration of the Most High Yahweh. And so these things, all right, let me see. Psalm 68 and 11. "The Lord gave the word, great was the company of those that published it." All right. And so man didn't give this word. It came by the mouth of the prophets. But it came by the mouth of the prophets. Salaki, the slip of the tongue. But it's from the Most High Yahweh. All right. And he dealt with the prophets. Okay. And the scriptures tell you that, But I just wanted to hit this point. In fact, I'm going to go Isaiah 55 and 11. It says, I started 10 because it's a parable. Isaiah 55 and 9. "For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. For as the rain cometh down and the snow from heaven, and returneth not thither, but watereth the earth, and maketh it bring forth and bud, that it may give seed to the sower, and bread to the eater, so shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth. It shall not return unto me void." All right. And that's, the Lord is, he deals with prophecy. Okay. All right. So Salak, it says, "But it shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall prosper in the thing whereto I sent it." All right. And right now we're focusing on what the Lord has said about the children of Israel in Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter and the 37th verse. But let's jump to verse 15 really quick. Deuteronomy 28:15, it says, "But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy power, to observe, to do all his commandments and his statutes which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee." So whenever Israel did not keep the commandments, they were bombarded by these curses. And the Lord had fulfilled his word, as the scriptures say, he had fulfilled his word that he said against Israel. All right, let me see if I can get that real quick. All right. Ooh. All right, Salaki. Let's see. Because people like to say, "Oh, these curses were what?" These curses were, they already took place, and that, they don't, they're not relevant in this time. They don't exist. The children of Israel don't exist. But people are wrong. They are mistaken. Okay, because wherever Israel is in the earth, these curses is going to follow them if they are not keeping the law, statutes, commandments. And we understand that we're all over the earth. Israelites are all over the earth, and wherever they may be, those curses will follow them. All right. So Salakia, it's Baruch. All right. It says Baruch 2:1. It says, "Therefore the Lord hath made good his word, which he pronounced against us and against our judges that judge Israel, and against our kings and against our princes and against the men of Israel and Judah." all right, to bring upon us great plagues, such as never have been under the whole heaven, as it came to pass in Jerusalem, according to the things that were written in the law of Moses, that a man should eat the flesh of his own son. And it's just giving examples because that's what the Lord said, all right, and flesh of his own daughter, all right. Moreover, he hath delivered them to be in subjection to all the kingdoms that are round about us, all right. And that is Israel, okay, because Israel is falling. Oh, the scriptures talk about a great falling away, and I know I'm kind of all over the place, but the scriptures talk about Israel falling away, and that son of man, who the son of perdition, who was supposed to be revealed in his time, which we know that is Esau, Edom, the son of destruction, who come in the power of Satan. We have fallen away, and I'm just referencing Second Thessalonians, the second chapter. But Salak, before I get any further, all right. It says, moreover, he hath delivered them to be in subjection to all the kingdoms that are round about us, to be as a reproach and desolation among all the people round about, where the Lord has scattered them. You see, so Israel scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. All right. Thus were we cast down and not exalted, because we have sinned against the Lord our power, and have not been obedient unto his voice. All right. And see, this is the cause of our demise, is us, transgressing the laws of Yahweh, the power of the universe. All right. To the Lord Yahweh, our power appertaineth righteousness, but unto us and to our fathers open shame, as appeareth this day. All right. And Israel is still in this condition where shame covers us, all right, until this day. So for all these plagues are come upon us, which the Lord hath pronounced against us, all right. And remember verse 2, it says, according to the things that were written in the law of Moses. Okay, so let's go back. I can keep going, but let's go back. Let's get the point. Deuteronomy 28:37, all right. And thou shalt become an astonishment. Let's go into this word. Astonishment. We're going to try to go into all these words. And thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all nations whither the Lord shall lead thee. All right. This is an indicator. This is what I like to call a spiritual marker. All right. Or a sign. Okay. Because when you read, you should be able to see these things happening in the world around you. And that's how dynamic this Bible is. The scriptures are. It exists in our world, and people think it's outdated. People think it's just religion, and it's more than that. It's always been more than that. And the people that disbelieve, those are the ones who are the main, and the main scrutinizers. Those who don't have the spiritual eye, who don't see, because really they overlook. They overlook the the evident signs. Okay. And if anybody was any type of scholar, they would definitely agree, which we don't need you people to agree. You're going to bow when the time comes, when the Lord shews forth who we are. All right. Because another scripture I can get is Hosea, the 10th chapter. No, the first chapter and the 10th verse, because the Lord really turned his back on Israel at one point. Okay. All right. And I'm going to save this one, I'm going to save that one. All right. So thou shalt become an astonishment and a proverb and a byword among all nations, whither the Lord shall lead thee. Now, and then after we go into these words, and I'm going to go to YouTube, I'm not going to play any videos, but I'm going to just show you the insurmountable number of races, countries who hate blacks, who talk crap about blacks, who down us, who downplay our condition, who don't treat us like human beings, so on and so forth. All right. And it's evident. Okay? And these are the spiritual markers, being that we are under curses. So let's continue, Slaki. Shema, that's what they got for the word. And thou shalt become an astonishment, a waste, a horror, appallment. Let's go into the word appallment. Why don't y'all just show me? So Salaki, appallment, noun, countable and uncountable, plural appallments. The state of being appalled or alarmed. All right, and that's not really telling me too much, but see, look, the state of being appalled, depression occasioned by fear, discouragement through fear. All right, when you look at slavery, all right, the scripture said, "Thou shalt become an astonishment." So when you go into slavery, and when you look at the history of slavery, that's the epitome of fear, being in fear at all times, always. Okay. And so Israel was in a state of fear. And what is more fearful than slavery for you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans? That history is a very fearful history. And the scriptures also say within the curses that we would wish it were night, or we would wish it was evening. It's a lot. I might just take a look at my book real quick. Like I said, I don't want to be all over the place, but I did just try to, just want to prove a point really quick. All right. Look at that. The verses 28, Deuteronomy 28 and 28. I'm reading off my book, so Salakia. It says, "The Lord shall smite thee with madness and blindness and astonishment of heart," meaning your mind, meaning fearfulness of heart. All right. Of horror. So what's more horrible than slavery? Tens of millions, almost hundreds of millions of slaves being, not just you so-called blacks, Latino. I mean, not just you so-called blacks, but you so-called Native American Indians. You were under horror. Also, you Latinos. All right, that be of indigenous lineage to America. Okay. So let's just go back. So fear. So the scriptures say once again, "Thou shalt become an astonishment." Fearful. All right. So basically, let's go back. Salakia. So an astonishment, that shall become a horror, a waste, appallment, a waste of land, city, etc., etc. So desolation. Okay. So let me see. So yeah, man. So I don't want to hit on it too much, but let's go into the next word. "Thou shalt become an astonishment and a proverb." All right. And then we're going to do the test. We're going to go to YouTube and see if that's prevalent and evident among you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. All right. It says a proverb, a parable, a proverbial saying. All right, let's look this word up. It says a phrase of a word or phrase referred to in a proverb or idiom. All right. Well known, especially so as to be stereotypical. And who are the most stereotyped people on the planet? You so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. Nobody make more jokes in the world than they do of you tribes. All right, let's go back. Salakia. It says an aphorism. Let's look this up real quick. Aphorism, a pithy observation that contains a general truth, such as, "If it ain't broke, don't fix it." All right, so a saying, okay? And what are the main saying? And it's not just any saying, it's a hurtful saying, all right? It's a byword similar to, so nigger, All right. A sentence of ethical wisdom, ethical maxims. All right. So let's look up the word, just plain old proverb. So it says the same thing. Stating a general truth or piece of advice. You know, they call Jakes, you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans lazy. You know, that's a parable or a proverb. You know, let me see. It says Salakia. Mashal, apparently from age 4910, in some original sense of superiority in mental action, properly a pithy maxim, usually a metaphorical nature, hence a simile as a day poem, discourse, byword, like parable, proverb. And the first thing that comes to mind is minstrel show. Okay. Now let's go to byword. I think the byword is more of the offense. See, there we go. A sharp word. And what's more sharper than the word nigger or nigga, as they say in the world? Nigga or black or darky, you know? Oh, and it just hit me. So a proverb, and correct me if I'm wrong, is more of a, like when they call us coon, you know, or they would refer us to animals, you know, not, for basically to put down, you know. So, and who has more jokes for us than, these so-called white people, you know, they got millions of jokes. So the word here for a byword, a sharp word, sharp cutting word, taunt, guide, all right? And so wherever the children of Israel are, all right, they are, a sharp word, a byword is that sharp word, all right, which we all know is a nigga, you know, it's infamous, all right? It says, among all nations, whither the Lord shall lead thee. So no matter where Israel is, they're going to be talked about, all right? And they're going to be a proverb and a byword, you see? Okay, so Salakia. All right, now for the test. Now, the only thing I did was type in racist countries towards blacks, all right? And, I watched some of the videos, but you can watch these videos yourself. When it's asking the question, it's basically telling you, it says, is Australia racist? Basically it's going into how racist they are, and yeah, and you're gonna see all these countries. So the first one's a good watch, but in Italy, the first black ministers brushes off racism. So they dealing with, racism, so-called racism in Italy. All right. You Negroes. Okay. No matter where you go, there's somebody talking about your skin color, somebody talking about you, saying you don't belong. Why? Because that's part of the curses. That is the identifier that you're an Israelite, okay? Because you're treated like next to nothing, all right? It says, is Australia racist? Of course. You got a whole bunch of white people there, but when you watch the video, it's going to explain the racism. Morocco, outrage of constant discrimination against you so-called blacks. Let's go to the news.
Behind these gates at Rabat Central Bus Station, a young migrant from Senegal was knifed to death on August 12. He lived in this poor neighborhood of the Moroccan capital. Here, like in many other Moroccan cities and towns, migrants hailing from sub-Saharan Africa face daily acts of violence.
See? Enough said. We ain't even got to go into that, but let's keep going. Attack on Africans. Is India a racist country? And I was just watching a video that basically explaining that, even though you go to the same schools as these people in India, you still treat it like next to nothing. Okay. All you got to do is look these videos up and watch them. And it's going to show you the racism. All right. Now, there's even racism in Latin America. All right, and when you're saying racism, you're talking about the degradation of you so-called blacks. Okay, them always talking bad. All right, so race and racism in Latin America. Because a lot of those Latinos, they call themselves Latinos, but they just can't get along with the other Latinos, and they think they're superior than their fellow Latinos. Those we know for sure are Edomites. All right, not every Latino is Aboriginal. I guess you could say, for lack of a better word, Salaki. All right, so as we go further down, Canada. All right, it gets a little bit more juicy. Right, so even in Muslim countries, I'll just watch a video with that. Okay, Israel's new racism, the persecution of African migrants. But you know, a lot of West Africans are Israelites too. The majority of West Africans are Israelites. All right, what's it like to be like being black in China? All right, and you already know the deal with this. All right, and in Japan they held a flag up during some football game, basically saying Japanese only. So they was kicking out all of the migrants, so to speak. All right, we already know it's racism in America. All right, and it's super racial. All right, here we go. This was a good one, but it's in a different language. Are Indians racist? Question an African living in Delhi, and she was just explaining how bad she's treated, even though she knows she's going through the right channels and doing the right thing for herself, going to school and all of that. Is Sweden racist? Of course it is. Greeks against racist beatings. All right, so why Japan so racist? And it's only against you so-called Negroes, man. No matter where you go, they're always talking about you Negroes, all right? Afro-Mexicans face racism daily in Mexico, you see? And their counterparts, Edomites, Here we go. I'm going to play this a little bit. But like I said, you can look these up yourself. And the test is, just,
Back.
Reading the scripture slow. So
Welcome back.
Reading the scripture and, basically typing in, basically because us being a proverb and a byword, that's the same thing as, somebody being racist towards you. They're always making fun of you. You're always a proverbial saying. You're a coon. You're, whatever the hell else they call us. But yeah, let's check this out.
Despite Islam's message of racial equality, Black Muslims continue to experience discrimination within the Muslim community and feel excluded from mosques and Muslim organizations. What can we do to turn the tide on anti-Black racism within the Muslim community? Joining me to discuss this is Dr. Abdullah Hakim Quick. Dr. Quick is a...
We ain't even got to go into all that. But the thing is, it's the same sentiment there no matter where you go. Anti-Black racism in the Muslim community. Yeah, and I can attest to that because, being in the world, I'm a D Muslim, all right? And, of course, I was going off, but when we went to the mosque, we had to pray in the back. We couldn't sit in the front with all with Elam. And, you had Elam that's Muslims too, but you see the clear discrimination. They clearly think they're better than us somehow, some way, but they're so inferior, you place a pinky on them, they'll break, they'll fold. So Salaki, Japanese react to, all right. And of course, the world, and you might say, oh, well, Japanese or Chinese, they experience racism too. Well, I'm gonna tell you like this: so-called Negroes don't have a country you can go back to where you can claim it for your own. Chinese is made over 90% of China population is Han Chinese, man. They have something they can go back to, where they're their own. We don't have anything, but no matter where we are, these people are discriminative, or they'll they throw shade and assault us with their words, so on and so forth. Physically, they assault us. Okay. NBA coach calls America a racist country. Of course it is. All right. And it's everywhere you go. What it's like being black in India. When you check this one out, it's going to tell you how discriminative they are towards you so-called blacks, man. All right. And these are West Africans. Okay. And this is every day. Racism in Italy, being African American and Italian. All right. Yeah, so, like I said, it's just a test, man, to be black in Finland. Let's watch just a little. I guarantee you, just watching a few minutes of it.
I'm winning.
I'm Kobe.
The salt of the earth. That's what you so-called
So
blacks
you
are. The
guys
salt
are
of the
in
earth, man. You're the
Finland.
flavor. You're the one that
And as the
gives the world
stereotype,
flavor.
everybody thinks Finnish people are racist. What do you have to say about that?
Well, Finnish people, I think it depends on the circles you're in. Definitely like the older generation, for sure, they can be really racist. But I feel like the younger ones are getting to, because there's more international people in Finnish schools now,
Right,
so
so
they're getting
they-
to know international people more.
Straight from the horse's mouth. Nothing more said. And we can go all day. We can go all day with this, And it's just to show you that no matter where we at in the world, being black in Russia, few seconds.
Welcome
It's a
to
lot. It's,
Oceanhorn
like I
2
said, just a
on
test.
Apple Arcade. Wait, you...
Once a racism act.
Piulo, lo que te traigo yo, de Colombia, de Argentina, de París. All you need is love, 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 love,
Israelite, Nigerians and Israelites.
Что для меня быть чернокожим в России, родившись в России, живя всю жизнь в Москве, и я не скажу, что я ощущаю какую-то особенность по отношению к остальным жителям города, что у меня...
So he never felt different because of skin color. So he doesn't have low self-esteem, okay, like we do here in America. Because here in America, they hit on a point that we're black and we're lazy and we're such a proverb, we're coons, we're niggas, pickaninnies, and all this other stuff. And they degrade us on the highest level. Even they started with Hollywood, making movies. The first movie that they made in America was, I forget the name right off the bat, but it was a race. It was very ambiguous. It was very false narrative, And the narrative was that we're beasts, that we're uncontrollable, we're untamed, that we want to rape white women and all this other stuff. And, a lot of lynchings happen based on this, on the premise of the propaganda that was being pushed by these so-called white people.
Цвет кожи. Путешествие за границей, конечно, когда люди берут на паспортном контроле или просто спрашивают, откуда ты, я говорю, я from Russia, очень начинают удивляться, и мне приходится долго рассказывать, да, вот я из России, да, вот в России тоже такие люди живут. Вот когда 2 года назад родился ребенок, понятно, что я стал очень много времени проводить здесь.
And the father carries the seed, man. It doesn't matter what the child looks like. It's about the
Понятно,
seed.
если человек меня увидел в первый раз, наверное, для него, немножко диковинка. Часто мне приходится слышать комплимент: ой, как вы хорошо говорите по-русски. На что я говорю, отвечаю: и вы неплохо говорите.
Public transportation. 71 racist attacks were reported in Russia. 6 people were killed.
Piulo, lo que te traigo yo, de Colombia, de Argentina, de París, de Nueva York, el mundo lo que quiere, one love. Como dice Bob Marley, one love, como Lennon y McCartney, all you need is love, all you need is love.
It is quite a different country.
And we ain't talk about nobody else but us. So, and like I said, man, no matter where you go, there's always us being a proverb and a byword among all the nations that the Lord has driven us. Okay, because the Lord has performed what He has said to the nation of Israel. Look at that. It's Korean racist. And the blackface right there. Bam. That answers the question. Let's see, man. Let's type this in. They want to hit you with the top 5 African American friendly country. Get the hell out of here. Blackface in the Netherlands. All right. Of course, it was here in America. Okay. Why are people still wearing blackface in 2018? All right. I think this is in Poland. No, it might be the Netherlands. But all these Edomites stay at. All right. Blackface. They celebrate St. Pete, right? Black Pete. That's racist in itself. All right. And it's just, man, it's just like the Lord said, man. He performed what He said against us, man. So, that was pretty much it, man. Like I said, you can even look up these videos, and all you're gonna see is, these nations being nasty towards us, man. And they're gonna have to pay for what they're doing, man. These heathens gonna have to pay, man. Because the Lord said this, Let me see. This is Zephaniah 3:19. Well, you know what? I started 18. It says, I will gather them that are sorrowful for the solemn assembly, who are of thee, to whom the reproach of it was a burden. All right. It says, behold, at that time I will undo all that afflict thee. And mainly it's the heathen nations. All right. Mainly Esau. It starts with Esau. It says, and I will save her that halted and gather her that was driven out. All right. And it's talking about the children of Israel. All right. Because we're at a lame state. We're at a state of no understanding. And the Lord is pretty much refurbishing or refreshing us with the knowledge and understanding. All right. It says, and gather her that was driven out, and will get them praise and fame in every land where they have been put to shame. All right. And at that time will I bring you again, even in the time that I gather you, you see, for I will make you a name and a praise among all people of the earth when I turn back your captivity before your eyes, said the Lord. All right. And that's going to happen. OK, no matter where we are in the world, the Lord is going to turn that shame and He's going to turn it to fame. All right. And we're going to get praise no matter where we are in the world. OK. And that is the that's what the Lord is going to do for the nation of Israel, man. All right. Because we were put to shame only because of our own doings. All right. Because we don't belong to anyone, any nation or state, except for Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Okay. Our power, our homeland, our culture relies in these scriptures, and that the Lord left it to us. All right. Because, it's our heritage. It was passed down from each generation. Our forefathers wrote this book. All right. Our generations passed it down. OK. And that's why it's in every country in the world, the Bible. I won't say every country, but the Bible is the number one book in the world. Why? Because it's from the Israelites. All right. And we are those Israelites. All right. The scriptures say Jacob is the form of all things. OK, we are the blood life of this planet. All right. Period. Point blank. And what would they do without us? What will these nations do without us? Absolutely nothing. All right. So the Lord is going to turn our shame into fame, or our shame is going to be turned into glory. Why? while these other nations are going to have to swallow down that cup of trembling, that cup of fear, because they have done wrong unto the nation of Israel, you know. And Lord willing, this was edifying. Just wanted to do that real quick through the Spirit. You know, the Spirit was on me to do it. Just a little quick test. But like, you know, hopefully it's edifying. I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakakodash. A double honors to the apostles and elders at Great Millstone. Salutations to you, Akim, that's out there doing the work in truth and necessity. Shalom.